Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds. Thank you for joining me for the weekly What Sold video. This week we're going to be talking about net profit again. So this has been gross-wise my biggest week I've ever had. I have broke the record of my previous week, so I'm very excited about that. And I sold across 5 different platforms, and that's going to be eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and Facebook Marketplace. I finally broke the seal on Facebook Marketplace. I'm still waiting to do that on Etsy, hopefully eventually. And then maybe I can have a 6 marketplace sale video as well. So that is what we're going to be sharing. I'm going to be telling you just how much I made on every single item I sold this week. It's about 80 items. So it's a lot. It's going into 2 videos because it's a lot. And I had some really good sales actually. I had profit from $4 up to hundreds of dollars. So it's a big variety. And I sold small items up to couches. So it's kind of exciting to be able to have such a variety now. I was always an everything seller, but I think I am taking that to an even bigger level now. I did want to just touch on one quick viewer question that asked if I promote and how much I promote at. So on eBay, I do promote. I do not do it on any other platform except for Depop. I do because they don't have the selling fees, so I go ahead and promote and do their type of promotion thing. But I don't do it on any other site, but I do it on eBay. And on eBay, I only do 2%. I will go up to, I have in the past gone up to 3.1%, but that has just been for very old listings. Otherwise, I'm right at 2%. And sometimes I think about increasing it to maybe 2.1 or 2.2 just to beat slightly some of the people that increase it to. But my sales have been good at 2%, and I'd rather just not have to pay any more fees, honestly. So I'm pretty happy keeping it right there. If you're really trying to increase sales, you might want to consider doing 3-4%. I really feel like once you get much past 5, I think it's just too much of a cut personally when you get up to those higher numbers. But some people, it works for them, and some people will increase the price and increase the promoted to counteract it. So that's an option as well. I personally just price really competitively. And so in this video too, you're going to see that my profit margins are changing. So that's why I'm doing this video now, because I want to show you that I'm still going to share with you what I'm selling and how much I'm making on them, even though my profit margins are changing. I'm still going to have really high on some, but there are going to be some where I'm only making 50%, 40, 50% on items. And I will start to talk, now and in the future about when those items are worth it for me. And again, you're going to continue to see my business change over the next few months as I continue into this new trajectory I have. I also finally signed a lease, an agreement on a storage unit. I'm officially going to be moving my inventory into a storage unit, so I will do a video on that. It was something I didn't ever want to do, but I'm bursting at the seams and my sanity needs this stuff out. So I'm going to tell you about how I'm going to traverse that and what I'm going to do. And yeah, that'll be kind of the future. So for now, we're just going to get right into sales. We have a lot to share. Just to tell you the format I do, I tell you the item and how much my profit is on it. And when I say the profit, that is after my platform fees and after my cost of goods. And then at the end of the second video, I will take out a bulk amount for the shipping cost. I just do a certain amount per package that I send out. And then I will also take out a chunk for taxes and put that money into a high yield savings account. So I will talk about all of that in the end of the second video, but let's get started. Lots of sales to share. So before we get started, the one little thing I do want to mention is I haven't talked about it in a while, but I do have affiliate links down in the description of items that I use on Amazon. If you click those links, I do get a small commission on absolutely anything you buy, I believe, for 24 hours after you click it, or up to 24 hours after you click it. So I kind of see it as a free way to support me if you're already going to be buying stuff, but no pressure to. And I'm trying to make myself update those links to give you a better idea of the items that I'm using in my business. I added the stainless steel cleaner that I use for my flatware. It's Barkeeper's Friend. That one has done pretty good. I still do the baking soda paste, but I do like that for some quick cleaning. So this first one, you've seen it before. It's a Calvin Klein leather wallet, and I sold the last of them. I didn't mean for this to go onto my sale, but it did, so it's fine. It was a multi-quantity listing, and even though it sold for $17.56 with free shipping, I still made $7.93. And then this is part of my Department 56 buy. It's Lamax figurines Nutcrackers set of 3. I just ended up taking a best offer of $23 because $23 for a small thing is fine with me. And so remember that my Department 56, it was a bulk lot, so I had about $6 into each piece. But so sometimes the how much I'm making profit, it's not going to seem like much. But this one was $12.74. And this has been listed forever. I really don't pick up Boyds bears much, but every once in a while they just fall into my lap. This is a 10-inch peppermint pea bear, Boyds jean or bean plush holiday bear. There are some Boyds worth picking up. I have a research video on them that I will link down in the description on the Boyd stuff you should look for. I have sold some for $20-$30, but this was not one of them. It sold for $6.93 on a best offer, and I made it $3.48. So remember, in these videos, I show you everything, the good profit and the bad profit. You'll see the things that I'm probably not going to do again, and I do this too to just help me figure out what I want to do moving forward. And this is an Oxford New Testament and Psalms King James Version Pocket Bible. This sold for $15.88 on a best offer, and I got this from my source, and really with my source, I've done some lower dollar items just to kind of start filling out the store and just building that relationship. But there will come a time where I'm probably not going to list anything below 20 to 25. But like this one, I still profited $6.79, and it took me max 10 minutes, including shipping, listing, putting it away. So I figure that's a pretty good hourly wage if I can do 6 of those in an hour. So that's how I also judge how much profit I'm making. If it's really easy, I'm okay making lower profit. If that was a breakable vase, wouldn't have done it. And this one is a Greyhound belt buckle. It was a really cool one and not a lot of sold history for it, so I priced it really high. And then I took a best offer of $47 though, and still ended up making $34.25 on this. I paid $5 at an estate sale for it. And it's been listed for probably 6+ months. This is the Nintendo Power Magazine, volume 128, and this was for Mario Party 2 poster and comic, and it sold for $11.16. I picked this up when I picked up the first Nintendo Power, but this one sold for the $11.16, and I profited $7.65. And this is the North Pole Town Hall, North Pole in there twice, don't like that. But it's musical illuminated, and it sold for a best offer of $30. And then I made it $17.58. And then here's just another one of the Calvin Klein wallets. This one, my profit was $7.79. This one came from my source. It's a Gilloy Indian Chief motorcycle die-cast model, and Reed was because it is missing a mirror. So that piece was not included. It was broken off, but still sold for $32.95. I mean, within a week or two. And I will also say a lot of the items I'm getting from my source, there are higher sell-through rates on a good amount of them. So, I'm making that profit faster too. So that's something also to consider. And this one I made $15.80 on. And here are some tools. I'm learning how to test tools, guys. And it's a Klein Tools True RMS Auto Ranging Digital Clamp Meter. And I got it turned on. I made it do some of the stuff, and it sold for $48.95 very quickly. It's a very sought after tool, and I ended up profiting $26.50. So it was a really quick profit on this one, a really good profit. And this is Department 56 last minute delivery. This one sold for the $17.95, and my profit was $8.69 on this item. Here's Gourmet Settings Moonlight Hammered Stainless Dinner Forks. Gourmet Settings is one that I have found a fair amount of them. It's common brand to find relatively, and it does bring some decent money. It's nothing super special, but it does bring some good money. This is just a set of 5 dinner forks, and it sold for $29.95 within a couple weeks, and my profit was $15.70. Here is Super Mario Odyssey Nintendo Switch that sold for $28.95. If you can price video games well, they sell incredibly quickly. The sell-through is just amazing, for video games that are sought after. And that's something fun about the source too, is I get to find all these things that I never can find out their sourcing because I'm not willing to get up at 4 a.m. and fight people. And it's just cool to find video games, and I've been able to test it's just been fun to be able to do that. But this one, my profit was $15.68, which again, this was so easy. Took me a couple minutes to test it, couple minutes for pictures. I mean, that profit I would do anytime. So even though I am paying more for these items, I'm making the money, and it's been fun. This is a Grateful Dead Bean Bear CC Rider. I have to look how many of these Grateful Dead bears I have left. I do have a good chunk of the high dollar ones left because those ones are going to probably just take a long, long time to sell, but this is $19.96 that this one sold for, and as a reminder, I have $4 into all my Grateful Dead bears, and so my profit was $13.61, and then this next bear also went with him, so I did do a shipping refund, so you'll see that this sells for $11.96, but my profit was only $3.50. That's because I did the shipping refund on this bear, just because they were easy to put together. And this was a nice one to test. This one came from my source, and it's the Sony PlayStation PS Vita bundle with games, charger, memory cards, and the case. It was in wonderful condition. It was able to get it charged up, playing, working, factory reset, and it sold very quickly for $224.95. And I made a profit of $133.94. And it probably took me, 20 to 30 minutes to pick all this stuff out, clean it up a little bit, charge it, play it, do all that, less than 30 minutes to make $133. So that's why I'm sharing this stuff with you so that you can, even if you start to pay up for items or you just start to find a different source for items, wholesaling, etc., you can still find a path to success in reselling. We can all find a different way. And this one here is Kirby's Dreamland. This one came from my source as well. Pretty much any video games you see will be coming from them. But it sold for $19.95, and I made $10.53 on it. And here is a Royal Albert Old Country Roses coffee teapot. I just picked up another set of Royal Albert, so I'm going to be selling this teapot again soon. And it sold for $55, and my profit was $37.48 on it. I am going to be pre-boxing more because after I get the storage unit, I'll have more room, and I'm going to pre-box more because, man, when a breakable sells and it's already pre-boxed, I have this relief of it's just like Nirvana. I'm so happy because then I just have to put a label on it. And this is Polo Ralph Lauren Double Knit Tech Athletic Shorts. These came from a rummage sale. I think it was in last October. And I got them for $1, and they sold for $43.96, and I made $34.10 on them. And I did have the tags as well. This is Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Foundation. I'll just be happy when this stuff is gone. The ones I picked up just don't have a great sell-through. And this sold for $20 on a best offer, and I made $8.09 on the lot. There are Bobbi Browns that are worth picking up. It's just the ones I picked up weren't great. This one was a surprise. It's a B-Cure Laser Vet Pro device for pets. Didn't have the power cord, but it could be powered with batteries, and it did sell for $274.95. This one came from my source as well, and I got it all tested, made sure all the features were working. It was pretty easy, and it sold in a couple weeks, and my profit was $147.23. So look for those interesting electronics because it didn't look like much. It did not look like a $300 item. Here is a rigid, compact fixed space corded router working with case. I'm I made my partner turn it on and figure it out because I have to learn more about tools. I'm going to, but I'm getting there. This one sold for $39.95 and I made $17.81. Here's some Oneida Strauss stainless 4 oval soup spoons. This was a great pattern, the Strauss one. This one said Strauss on the back with Oneida, which was interesting. Also, this one has a round soup spoon as well. And it sold for $26.36, and I made $19.99 on this. I got it in a bag this flatware set in a bag at a thrift store. This is Fire Emblem Three Houses Standard Edition, and it's from 2019 and sold for $34.95 within a day or two, and I made $17.76. And a couple more video games. Here is Mega Man I think it's Willie's Revenge, and it was tested working and sold for $14.95 very quickly. And this one is Dragon Age Origins and Awakening expansion. The expansion did not have a manual, and it's just PS3. I put these two together because they weren't super valuable apart, and it sold for $14.95, and I made $7.28. Oh, and the Mega Man I made $7.43 on. And here is Tetris, an original Game Boy game, tested, authentic cartridge, and it sold for $11.95, and I made $5.80 on it. And you guys know I like to pick up Dune books, the early Frank Herbert. I even just picked up it was a trilogy set of Dune, the first three by Frank Herbert, and it's paperback, and it's still going to sell for some decent money. So definitely worth checking them out when you pick up these early ones. This is just a book club edition, and it sold very quickly for $29.95. And I got this at Goodwill for $2.99, and I got it with the book club edition of Dune there as well. That's worth a significant amount more than this one. It was exciting to see it. And here is a Gun 1993 Black Poodle Plush 11-inch stuffed animal dog. This one is one of those that I really couldn't find this exact one, so I just had to look at kind of similars and make an educated guess on price. It took a few months to sell and sold for $19.96, so I'm happy with that. And I made $13.96 on it. This is Lamax Christmas Village Town North Pole Ski Rat. I just love Lamax is definitely one of my top favorite things to find, especially these little figurines. I just love finding them. And this one sold for $11.95, and I made $3.28 because remember, 6 into each piece, good and the bad. And this is another one of these items that I will start pre-packing once I have more space because man, it just makes me so sad when I see some of these difficult items sell. I'm happy for the sale, but then you realize that you're going to have to try to find a box and Frankenstein it. And this way I can put in exact dimensions going forward. So I am very excited to be doing that more. And this is an antique Adirondack leaf walnut wood frame gold inner rim our gold gilt inner rim farming photo, and it sold for $43.96. It took well over a year to sell. It came from my big frame buy, and I made $27.05. This one has been listed for probably over a year, but I picked these up at a rummage sale that I really enjoy going to, and it's a Sharif Original shoulder bag purse, blue leather chain strap with clutch. Really had never been used and sold for a best offer of $50, and I only paid $1 for it at this rummage sale, and I bought like 6 of these purses, and I made $39.35. This is a Native American sterling mother of pearl turquoise inlay round brooch pendant. I couldn't believe this was in an auction lot I got of 2 of these kind of pieces, and I couldn't believe it didn't get bid up. I was so surprised, and it sold for a best offer of $48, and I made $37.30. Here's some bare bottom shorts, men's XXL. These are desert brown. I've showed a few like this before. This one sold on a best offer of $18. You can tell that short season is coming and people are preparing. It doesn't feel like short season for me. It was 40 something today and did some snowing. So not quite there here, but the profit I made on it was $13.32. This one is so surprising. This is a Nikon Kinkotherm infrared knee support wrap, extra large, black, sold for $49.95. This is just a knee wrap. Like this is little. I'm surprised, doing this for years and I'm still surprised all the time by stuff. And it sold for the $49.95 and I got this one from my source, but I still made $27.75 on it. Here's Oneida Applique stainless salad forks, 5 of them, and 2 dinner forks. And these actually sold to a viewer for a best offer of $10, and I made $7.32 on them. And these ones were really cool. It's a Gerbings heated 12-volt black motorcycle riding gloves, and they also could be used for snowmobiles. Couldn't think of it. I kept thinking snowboarding, but that wouldn't work. But these had to be hooked. I had to hook it into the cigarette lighter, and they were actually so cozy because I was driving to the post office, just having them on my hands, and they were so cozy while I was testing them. And they sold for $60, and I got them from my source and made $20.86. Here is a Resistol 4X Beaver Cowboy Western hat, black, and wasn't in perfect condition. Really happy it sold on Poshmark for that reason. And I got this at an estate sale for just a couple bucks, and it did sell for the $50 that you see, and I profited $38. And then here are Dansko Clog, women's size 39, volley canvas, floral patchwork, rain shoes, slip-on. I took a best offer of 22. I probably could have got more eventually, but it was a quick profit. I paid 5 at an estate sale, so my profit was $12.60. So it still was worth it because it was free priority packing. They were easy, they were already clean. So not my best profit, but it worked. And then here I'm just going to put up a picture of it. But I sold 2 couches and it was from my source on Facebook Marketplace. So I just split the profit on these. So I made $75 on it was just a faux leather maroon couch set. It was a 3-seater and then a 2-seater that had a little console in the middle, and they were in nice condition. They just had a couple little flaws that I showed in the pictures still and that's talked about in the description, but people came, picked them up, loaded them in, and so I made $75 profit on that. They sold for $150 the set. I don't recommend quite that kind of big furniture if you don't have the space, but luckily these were at the warehouse so that I didn't have to keep them at my house. But it's interesting going into some furniture. I have no idea what I'm doing with furniture. Absolutely zero. So hopefully you'll be able to see more of that kind of stuff and maybe learn something along the way with me. But that is everything that sold for this video. That is 40 items that I shared with you in this video. And I have 39 or 40 more for the next video. And the total profit on all these items was $981.48. So, my margins again are not as big as they used to be, but because I am getting stuff from my source and still sourcing myself, it really just kind of counterbalances nice so that I'm able to still keep a decent margin between it. And $981.48 is nothing to sneeze at. Now, remember, that's before we take out the shipping, supplies, and taxes, of course, but we still have a whole nother video to do, so please join me on that video if you can. I will post it a day after this one, and if you are watching this later on, the link will be in the description. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.